What legacy are you leaving behind?
The Black Family First program aims to reconnect the family at the root.
Healing both ancestral and personal trauma by way of creating bonds through communication, understanding, reason, compassion, connecting oneself to family, friends and the community.
Reminding the older generation to be role models and mentors, and in turn, teaching the younger generation the building blocks on how to live, love, and respect one another for a stronger family union.
That way, the next generation bears the fruits of our labor and our experiences. Black Power starts with your melanin, uniting the Black family first.
Life. The idea of the visual has its place, and I understand that. YouTube has its place, and I understand that. But that must be supplementary to our original research about who we are as a people. For us to be able to move forward, we have to look at this material. And I always tell people, and I ask people, even those who are listening to me today, don't believe a word I'm saying, because what I'm saying to you is not for you to believe me. My purpose is to make you think. Simple. What I am saying to you is not to be believed or not believed. What I am saying to you is simply think about what I'm saying. Think about the realities of what we face as a people. Come to your own conclusions about what you're hearing so that we can move forward. So you have to look at this from many different subject areas. It's not just history. You have to look at science, the geology, what happened on our planet, oceanography, what happened on our, before human beings existed, before animals existed, before plants existed, what actually happened? And that's why cosmology becomes so important. For us to understand the cosmological development of the universe. And this is why our ancestors understood through nature that we as entities have always existed. We're existing now in this form. And after this form, this physical body releases our ba, or our soul, our spirit returns back from whence it came. Science tells us that energy cannot be destroyed or created. It simply exists for all time and space. And Dr. Edward Bruce Bynum teaches us as an African people in his book, Dark Light. He teaches us that the original human beings who sat at the feet of nature, because nature was our first teacher. Nature taught us. All the answers we need in life, nature will teach you. We tend to run to a computer. Africans and original people run to nature. And so when you're looking at this, you understand that the original human beings, the Africans, understood very clearly that they were six-dimensionals in their existence. Eurasians and Western civilization is three-dimensional. 3 dimensions of length, width, and depth. Those are the 3 dimensions that we're living in. This is what we're forced to live in. But for us as an African people, our 4th dimension is when you take length, width, and depth, and you get to a point where you master it. You then bring those 3 dimensions together, you create the 4th dimension, which is time and space. Time is history and space is geography. So when you can bring time-space continuum into existence, then you realize, and I often tell people, you know, when you tell people like, oh man, that's deja vu, I experienced that before. Or I feel like I've heard you say this before, or I feel like I've been here before. I feel like I've experienced this before. Well, you have. Because the way in which the cosmic universe is created, you see, when you introduced it as from the seen to the unseen, that was an appropriate title, because that's really what we're talking about. We're talking about the universal human being, the African mindset, that holistic mind can look at the seen, which is science. Science is seen spirituality, and spirituality is unseen science. And so as an African people, if you've experienced something before, it's like if you wrote a book, and then after you wrote the book, you read the book, and you begin to say, you know, I've seen this before. Well, you wrote the book. So you created the experience. So deja vu is nothing but the manifestation of what you've been working towards your entire lifetime. So time and space as a continuum collapses into one existence. You take the 3 dimensions and you combine them together, the length, the width, and the breadth and depth of everything that you see. You then bring together and you create a 4th dimension, which is time and space. Now, when you get to time and space, you get to a certain point in your existence where you are walking in the light. The light. That's why I tell people, be careful when you talk about light complexion and dark complexion. There is no light complexion and dark complexion. We're all light. When you say light complexion, you give the impression that you're talking about pigmentation, color. Color doesn't exist. Color is a spectrum that our eyes perceive through the ultraviolet and infrared spectrum. But color doesn't exist. So you can't be colored people. You're pigmented. And pigmented comes from this molecule known as melanin. So in Dr. Bruce Bynum's book, Dark Light, he talks about the fact that if you consider yourself dark complexion, what you really should be saying is you are dark light. And if you're light complexion, then you're light. But it's not a complexion. And so in this 5th dimension of light, Black folk then begin to be one with the Creator. After you've got the time-space continuum in place, then you go into your light phase. And that is what this civilization is deathly afraid of us ever recognizing. First of all, they don't even want us to get into time-space continuum because they can't go there. They get kicked out. I'm not speaking about all of them now. I don't speak in absolutes. But I'm saying that this civilization as it exists is 3-dimensional. If you're worried about money, if that's what you focus on all your life, if you're focused on your clothing and your shoes and all the material things, you're not out the 3rd dimension yet. And you'll always stay in 3 dimensions. Only when you see the larger creative force around you will you ever branch out into the 4th dimension. And when you master the 4th dimension, you then master the 5th dimension, which is light. And then when you get to that, then you understand gravity, which is the 6th dimension. And then gravity allows you to travel wherever you see fit. Wherever you want to go, you can go. And so this becomes the other piece that we're dealing with as a people. So these are 6 dimensions.
The people have to pay the price for peace. If you dare to struggle, you dare to win. If you dare not to struggle, then goddamn it, you don't deserve to win. Let me say peace to you if you're willing to fight for it. Let me say it in the spirit of liberation. I've been gone for a while.
So my leaders ass gone, all my leaders ass gone. I know they did you so wrong, I'm still standing here strong. Against all the wrongs, against all the wrongs. For my leaders ass gone, all my leaders ass gone. Although they did you so wrong, I'm still standing here strong. Against all the wrongs.